James Neal wasn't on his stick for very long. He knew that Bear was into the slot, and he just let it go in a hurry.
Is Ethan Bear not just the cutest thing ever? I mean, look at this kid. Look at that face. What is going on, everybody? JD here, and welcome to this edition of the American OILER Recap Show, brought to you by, once again, yes, an American. Now, we've got a lot of roster moves to talk about here, folks. Joakim Nygard, placed on injured reserve, took a shot off the ribs earlier last week. He's done 2 to 4 weeks, so a lot of speed off that left wing missing for the next couple of games. William Lagesson called up. Gaetan Haas sent down. I guess that's an attempt to try and get him more acclimated to the size of American ice, the speed of the American game, before just chucking him in the deep end up in Edmonton. Sam Gagner was also called up. Poor man had to fly into Thunder Bay and then take the bus to Winnipeg because Winnipeg doesn't have an airport. He was eligible for the Jets game is why he had to make the trip to Winnipeg. If only they had an airport. Last name to talk about in terms of injury, Joel Persson, currently undergoing concussion protocol. 7 to 10 days is usually the range of that. We'll see when he comes back. Lagesson was called up to fill that 17-man slot. Manning slots in on that third defensive pairing. And a move within the organization that I missed last week, Dylan Wells called up from Wichita to Bakersfield. Shane Starrett got knocked in the groin in that game against San Jose last Sunday, not 2 days ago, but the week before. So Starrett's done for a little bit of time. Dylan Wells will fill the gap in Bakersfield alongside Stuart Skinner. Let's get into the results of this last week. Edmonton opening a quick 2-game home stretch, welcoming the Philadelphia Flyers into town. Thankfully, Gritty didn't come with them, although there was some pretty poor fan-made, shall we say, Gritty mask wandering around Rogers Place. I wonder if bagged milk came across him. That would have been an interesting conversation, considering Gritty can't talk. The offense was dialed up to 11 in this game. Leon Draisaitl, 2 goals and an assist. Connor McDavid with another goal on an absolutely beautiful feed from Chris Russell out of the back of his own defensive zone. McDavid chases it down, puts it past the Sherwood Park native Carter Hart, who had a massive breakout campaign last year. Edmonton torched him for 4 goals within the first period and a half. He got pulled in favor of Brian Elliott. And it wasn't just the forwards doing all the work. Ethan Bear gets his first goal of the campaign. And Brandon Manning, stepping into that third pairing as mentioned previously, slaps one home from the point. Good for him to get his first goal of the season as well. Now, I know I was bringing up the fact last week that Leon Draisaitl may be getting overworked at this point of the season. Only 1951 of total ice time, a little bit on the power play, a little bit shorthanded. So not anything to really write home about. But, I mean, granted, he's your top-line left wing. Of course he's going to see a lot of ice time. But my point still stands. What is his physical cap, and when are we going to reach it, and when are unfortunate things going to happen? Not a lot of unfortunate things happening for the Oilers. They win this game 6-3, 2 for 2 on the power play. Had to do some work on the penalty kill. Only let in 2 goals of 6 opportunities. So the kill's working. The power play's working at an unbelievable rate this year, which, granted, let's all dial it back a little bit. This was only the 7th game of the year. Percentages are going to go one way or the other once the season starts getting into full swing and things settle down. But hey, I'll take an effective power play early. I really will. Last thing to note against Philadelphia, Mikko Koskinen. Oh my goodness. Man played out of his mind. 49 saves on 52 shot attempts. Give him the first star. I don't care about the rest of them. Give him the first star. Now on to Friday. Ken Holland welcoming his former club into Edmonton. The Detroit Red Wings sitting second last in the Atlantic Division this year. 3-5-0 as things currently stand. Mikko Koskinen got another start and goal. Great start for Mikko Koskinen. 25 of 26 save. That's good for a .962. This man's absolutely balling out of his mind this year, which granted, that's what he did last year. He got extended that ridiculous amount of money by Peter Chiarelli and then fell off a cliff and didn't really have anyone to back him up. Now he does this year. Mike Smith has also been doing well, except when he decides to venture around the ice. We'll leave that against Los Angeles. We'll leave that from 2 weeks ago. Now, I can't tell if this team is just getting tired because they've been playing at a ridiculous rate or if Detroit is just giving teams that much of fits. James Neal scored. Woohoo. That's not a news story. It's really news when he doesn't score. Ethan Bear also gets on the score sheet. And Edmonton had to squeak this one out. 2 goals in the second period. Detroit answered at the end of the period to make it 2-1. They went empty net at the end of the game. That was a stressful 90 to 120 seconds listening to Jack call that game. Connor missed a wide-open empty net opportunity to potentially ice the game. This kind of goes against something that I said week 1 of the AOR, that the depth players are really stepping up and contributing. Sure, they're on the ice. Sure, they're cycling the puck. I believe that was the point made on Oils Bills earlier today, that the bottom 6 are eating clock time, which, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But when they're not also contributing on the score sheet, it makes it harder for the top 6 to then go out there and single-handedly win games. You can't win 6-on-12. But the bottom 6 needs to start scoring if Edmonton wants to keep up this offensive onslaught that they've had to start the year. James Neal can only lead scoring, but for so long before someone else is going to show up and take that title away from him. Gutsy win on home ice. Edmonton debuted the 3rd jerseys this year. I'm a fan personally. Drop your reaction in the comments. Would love to hear what y'all think about them. I'm big on any sort of alternate jersey that doesn't look like complete trash. Trust me, there have been some throughout the years. Now let's take a jump into the East Coast League results right here. Oh, never mind. Up a level now to the American League. The Condors went into Stockton last Tuesday night. They won that game in pretty convincing fashion, 6-2. Kyler Yamamoto gets his 4th goal of the year. Evan Bouchard gets his first. A Sam Gagner double, and Josh Curry picking up his 3rd goal of the year. See the Condors put up a 4th spot in the first period and take it 6-2 before turning around at home at Mechanics Bank Arena on Saturday. They lose to Stockton 4-3. Evan Bouchard getting his 2nd goal of the season. Brad Malone registering his 1st of the season. And Josh Curry, he's on a heater, putting up 4 goals so far this year. Now, speaking of the little man himself, Kyler Yamamoto, and also speaking of the lack of depth scoring at the top club right now, one of the debates that I heard on Oilers Nation earlier today is, do you call up Kyler Yamamoto and try and insert him on, I guess, the Oilers' 3rd or 4th line to try and spark some sort of depth scoring? Now, my main problem with this is Kyler's succeeding in Bakersfield right now. They've already tried bringing him up to Edmonton to try and fill some sort of scoring gap. I mean, for goodness sake, they chucked him in the top 6. That wasn't exactly a smart play for him. I just don't want the Oilers to completely tank his confidence like I'm pretty sure they did with Jesse Puljujärvi. Is he doing all right? Can we get a Jesse check, please? I just don't think you can feasibly take Kyler Yamamoto out of the environment he's in Bakersfield, where he's getting guaranteed top line, top 6 minutes, night in, night out. He's scoring, for goodness sake, and shove him onto an Edmonton Oilers roster where he's going to be the smallest guy on the ice, bar none. He's going to get targeted because of that. And then you run the risk of injury. You run the risk of him dropping his confidence. And then he goes back down to Bakersfield regardless. So, no, keep him in Bakersfield right now. If he goes on an absolute tear, then yeah, sure. And I know I've said previously that Yamamoto will get a look this year. I'm okay with that. It's just got to be in the right situation. You can't just call him up because you want scoring. Granted, that's exactly what they did last year, and we see how that went. Honestly, give him most of the season in Bakersfield. Give him a little taste of the NHL later on, and then send him back down if they're in a position to make a run at the Calder Cup again. Now, the final game we need to discuss is this absolutely thrilling 1-0 shootout in Winnipeg. Can y'all please get an airport? For the love of God, some of us want to come watch games there. Mike Smith pitches the shutout, believe it or not. 23 saves out of 23 attempts. Winnipeg just too good in the shootout. Kyle Connor and, go figure, Patrick Laine, but 2 well-placed shots past Mike Smith in the shootout period to earn the Jets the extra point of the decision. Edmonton still leads the Pacific Division. They sit at 15 points after their opening 9 contests, a 7-1-1 start for the Oilers. Now, I can't say that I saw this club getting out to this hot a start this season. Sure, we knew what the top 6 was going to bring to this club. Yeah, you add James Neal in there, who scored 20 goals multiple times over the course of his career. But the bottom 6 has been a question mark for, I'd say, the last 2 years, even that playoff run, 16-17. The change in management also threw in a lot of question marks. A lot of new guys were brought in to try and flesh out this team, and some of them have done all right. A lot of these bottom 6 guys are there to serve a purpose. Some of them are going to get on the score sheet. We hope they get on the score sheet. Please get on the score sheet, guys. Please, please. Quick wrap of the standings. As we've said, Edmonton sits 7-1-1, good for 15 points. They lead the Pacific Division. Anaheim 6-3-0, good for 12 points. Tied with Vegas at 6-4-0. Calgary at 5-4-1, good for 11 points. Vancouver 5-3-0, good for 10 points. See, this division is just a jam at the top. Arizona 4-2-1. San Jose and LA sit joint bottom at 6 points. Bakersfield remains in 5th in the Pacific Division after going 1-1 last week. Stockton holds steady at the top of that division despite the loss to Bakersfield, sit with 10 points. Tucson at 8 points. Ontario, Colorado has leapfrogged Bakersfield. San Jose and San Diego round out that division. And Wichita drops to 5th in the Mountain Division. Idaho, top of that division with 8 points, followed by Rapid City Allen, the Utah Grizzlies that dropped a 7th spot on Wichita, Kansas City in 6th, and Tulsa in last. Upcoming schedule for the Oilers. They're in Minnesota tonight to take on the last place in the Central Division, Wild, followed by a return to Rogers Place on Thursday. My hometown Capitals pay a visit, followed by an afternoon contest on Sunday. Florida Panthers making the trip north. Bakersfield will play host to the Ontario Reign on Wednesday, followed by a home-and-home Friday-Saturday games, both against the Stockton Heat. And Wichita with just one contest before they're off until November 1st. They welcome the Idaho Steelheads to town. That is going to do it for this episode of the American Oiler Recap Show. I won't bore you with the like and subscribe pitch, but would appreciate you if you did. But for now, no matter what country you're in, this is Oil Country.